Today's video is sponsored by NordPass. I've been going to Leeds Festival in the UK since I was 15, was the first year that I went in 2010. I've already done one video talking about the Fuji X100S when I was in London shortly after I first got the camera, and I'll be doing many more videos talking about the Fuji X100 in the future, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Let's look over some of the shots that I took at Leeds Fest this weekend. Just so you know, I haven't edited any of them in terms of crop, zero cropping whatsoever, everything is as out of camera. While we look over the photos that I took, I just want to touch on a couple of things about this camera. First, why using this camera at Leeds Fest felt right for me. When I've been to lots of music festivals in the UK, most of them I've actually gone to and taken my Minolta X100S film camera. I've had this film camera since 2014. I picked it up when I was in Cambodia one year. After my phone got nicked, I needed a camera. So I picked up this Minolta X100S, and it's a 35mm analog film camera. I always enjoyed taking this camera to music festivals because you often take like disposable cameras to music festivals, which are quite fun, but it was really nice to have something that's a bit more dynamic. I have a 28mm lens and a 50mm lens for this camera, so having the option to sort of go and explore a little bit at the festival has always been really nice. And having recently picked up this Fuji X100S, I thought this could be kind of a nice bridge of a camera to take to a festival. Still sort of get that engaged film aspect of taking photos at a festival while having a bit more flexibility in editing, and also like in the amount of shots I actually have per day per SD card rather than roll to be able to shoot at the festival. Next, I'd like to talk about the limits of this camera. As I mentioned before, I used to shoot on my Minolta at festivals, and I would bring a couple of different lenses so I had a bit of choice around what I was going to shoot. Obviously on the X100S we have just the f2 23mm, which is a 35mm equivalent lens. It does mean that if you see a longer shot that would work with something like a 50 or an 85, you just can't get it. And if you see a super wide shot that would work with something like a 17 or a 20, you can't get it. But I think that also leads on to the benefits of the camera quite well. Along with the lack of focal range, what we are also missing here is sort of a high-speed continuous shoot rate, and also a well-performing continuous autofocus when subjects are moving. So there was the odd time where someone would pop up and I would try and get a photo and you just missed them, or you missed them by quite a lot with the focus. So part of that's down to user error, and part of it is down to sort of lack of responsiveness with the autofocus system. The limit of the camera having only one focal length is also actually a benefit in my opinion. In this sort of scenario, and kind of like why I like shooting with any prime sometimes, you aren't faffing around deciding how zoomed you're going to be, or what if you're going to be at a wide or a tele. You are just, you've got the 23, you're going with the 23. And for me at Leeds Fest, that actually was great because I would essentially check my exposure as I was walking around. Like if the lighting had changed at all in a big way, I would check my exposure. And apart from that, I would have my autofocus point to roughly, you know, just a comfortable portion of the screen where I would get like a nice bit of framing. And then I would just lift up the camera and pop. Like that was literally it. There was the odd moment where I took a bit more time for a photo, or I sort of trialed and errored a few different shots like in one scenario. But when you're at something that's quite fast moving like a festival, like obviously I wasn't a hire photographer there, so I'm sort of just having fun with it. But things are still moving quite fast. The X100S has famously been liked a lot by street photographers and some portrait photographers, and it's just quite a nice carry with you camera to shoot away at life as you go around. This X100S has definitely sort of opened up a different perspective for me in terms of getting out there and just shooting because you want to shoot. I think in that way it is very similar to when I used to shoot on my Minolta X700. It definitely satisfies me in a similar way to the way that my Minolta X700 used to. I also quite like that Minolta was X700 and now this is X100. It feels like quite a nice little replacement, and something that will keep me happy and creative with photography well into the future. I would like to say a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, NordPass. I have been using NordPass for about a year now, and it has been doing everything that I need in terms of keeping my information safe online, be that my passwords, remembering the right email for the right account, my credit card information, and even my secure notes. Some of the benefits of NordPass include being able to generate secure passwords on the spot when you create a new account. If you want to get started with NordPass today, check out their So Long Summer Sale where you can get 70% off using the code George Holden at nordpass.com/George Holden. I'm going to leave this one here for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more videos about Fuji cameras, Sony cameras, and all sorts of other stuff, drop comments down below with what you'd like to see and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, take care, and I will see you in the next one.